let's talk about the wonderful shutdown and whatever side you're on or whatever you think. I mean, look, there was definitely going to be a shutdown. And look, the Republicans did the same thing, right? When Democrats, were. Now it was guaranteed to happen because if you look, this actually came from Cuomo, who's used to hate Trump. He doesn't hate Trump as much anymore. And I kind of like his reporting sometimes because he's right. It's more down the middle now. A lot of good sources showing what happened during that meeting. It was, they threw in, like, it's the healthcare, right? Obamacare. And they threw in that if you're here as basically as an illegal, that you're going to get free healthcare. Donald Trump ran on that. Right, we're going to close the border. I mean, that was the biggest thing. So by putting that in and trying to sneak that into the bill, that there was no way the Republicans going to accept it. So it was going to be shut down. Let's see how long it lasts. It's going to be temporary. It maybe lasts a couple of weeks, maybe it lasts a month, and then they're going to extend it. We all know that's why the market's doing okay. But Daniel, there's a bigger underlying trend taking place here. And it's been taking place for the last year. And if you're looking at gold and Bitcoin, things that we've been telling you to buy for the past 2 years, continue to buy all of them. Yes, we know Bitcoin. Hardcore Bitcoiners hate gold. Hardcore gold bugs hate Bitcoiners. Own them both. But they're buying these two sectors and two asset classes because they know our politicians are a bunch of assholes. Okay, so you have the geopolitical risk of war, you have policy uncertainty, uncertainty about long-term inflation, massive government, right, debt, where it's not slowing anytime soon. With Trump in office, with Biden in office, no matter who it is, it's not slowing anytime soon. That's what they're fighting for right now. We talk about should the Fed be independent or not, right? We talk about weak fiat currencies. This is a very huge trend that's not going to define gold and Bitcoin as these cyclical trends. These are secular trends. You could argue Bitcoin has always been a secular trend, but you've seen the cyclical nature, and yes, at all-time highs, and we've seen it go from 26,000 to 6,000. We've seen it go from 100,000 to, I think, 65, 55,000. These are secular growing industries because the younger generation, Daniel, this is what they know of, and they hate our government. They see what's going on. They see our deficits. They haven't participated, the younger generation. This is what they're buying right now. I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. I think these asset classes are going to continue to go higher for a very, very, very long time with bumps in the road, of course, but part of a longer secular bull trend. And you're seeing that even stocks within the space. I'm not sure if Wall Street understands. I know Wall Street doesn't understand this when I look at analysts and stuff like that. I don't know how much Main Street understands this and how significant this is when you're seeing them move in gold and Bitcoin, because we are talking about the younger generation. And capitalism sucks for the younger generation. Everyone listening to the podcast loves capitalism. It's the greatest thing. You work your ass off. The harder you work, the better the outcome is going to be. I truly believe that. So one thing you control, how hard you work. Right? You own assets. I was able to buy a house. How my home values have gone up, tremendously. Right? You have stocks. You're owning assets. You're benefiting from capitalism. If you don't own assets, you're not. Right? So think of the younger generation that's been conditioned to say, you know what, capitalism sucks. We don't own homes, we don't own cars, collectibles. The government sucks, right? We're going to see the government continue to spend forever. Politicians suck because they're going to promise you the world every single election, and they never, ever, ever deliver, right? So think about this sentiment that's happening, which is the norm for investors probably under 40 years old. And in 10 years, in 20 years, this is going to be the largest demographic of people going forward. And this is going to be the sentiment going forward. And they hate the US dollar. They want more Bitcoin. And now you're seeing this massive inflows into gold for the very first time. And it's not just central banks. You're seeing mainstream media. I'm talking to a lot of companies within the gold industry. I spoke at a lot of these events for 10, 12 years. I haven't in probably the last 6 or 7 because I hated gold. And I didn't hate gold the last year and a half, 2 years. But it's just, there was like a 6-7 year period where everything else was doing great other than that. And I'm like, it just doesn't make sense to own these right now. But now you're seeing more and more people pile into this and talking to these people who just had the Denver conference just happen, and they're signing deals like crazy. There's going to be a New Orleans conference if you're going to attend. I'm probably going to be there. That's the first week in November. My conference for the one is the next week. And the following week, a company I invested in, Adrenaline, is going to perform live their first event, which is going to be cool. It's going to be at the Resorts World, and it's amazing because they actually got their whole display on the Resorts World Casino. That's the following week, so I'm going to be really busy. But getting back to the point of these gold conferences, they were empty. Last year, I went to the New Orleans conference, and it was boring as shit. Same thing. Guys say, dollar's going to reserve currency stat. You have an 80-year-old guy up there, and I told you this is going to happen. And it's like, you just take that guy, take 20 years off him, it's the same exact speech he made 20 years ago, right? It's like, get it more entertaining at least. This year, you're seeing these conferences, they're getting more and more packed. People are interested. You're seeing these junior miners start to get massive funding. I just saw a couple of companies, like not 10 million, 20 million, $100 million deals that they're doing. They're raising money. They're raising capital, and this isn't going to stop. None of the problems these investments represent, or the reason why you're buying them, they're never, ever, ever going to go away. they're not going to go away. Is the government going to stop spending? No. Are politicians going to stop lying to you? No. Hate the system? Yes. Right? So it means gold prices are going higher, Bitcoin prices are going higher, and they're not going to go higher like just a couple months. This is a secular trend where every year you're going to see these asset classes going higher and higher for a very long time. There will be bumps in the road. There's going to be bumps in the road, of course, but you're going to see this happen over the long term. And gold, that's why gold's up 50% on the year, and Bitcoin's up 30% of the year, right? Easily outperforming the overall markets. I think you'll really love Wall Street Unplugged Premium. The Wall Street Unplugged Premium is my members-only podcast where I dive even deeper into this week's events. I'll tell you specifically what moves you can make today, specific investment ideas I'm recommending and tracking each week, also the news we're picking up from our network of insiders. And becoming a member is super simple and super cheap. So head on over to WSUoffer.com to check it all out. Sign up today and you won't miss a thing. That's WSUoffer.com.